Hello and welcome to day 3 of Learn PostgreSQL in 7 days. In this section, we're going to learn how to count rows in our table. Let's get started. First, let's review the assignment from day 2. Now, as you may remember, our assignment was broken down into several problems, and each problem was organized as a business task. Let's get started by reviewing the solutions, starting with problem 1. So for problem 1, you're an employee at the DVD rental store, and someone brings a wallet they found to the front desk. You discover the wallet belongs to Terry Grissom. Using the knowledge from section 2, find a way to query Terry's email from the database to let him know about his wallet. Okay, so your query should have looked something like this. Select email from customer where first name equals Terry and last name equals Grissom. So hopefully you were able to get that. Let's take a look at problem 2. So for problem 2, it's another day at the DVD rental store and your manager needs help organizing records to support a larger inventory. Your manager has asked you to research how many unique category IDs are in the store database. Write a query to do this. Okay, so for this one, I gave you a hint that it was going to be in the film category table. So your query should have looked something like this. Select distinct category ID from film category. So hopefully you're able to get that. Let's go ahead and take a look at problem 3. So for problem 3, we had it broken down into 3 parts. So for part 1, you're an employee at the pet shop and a new dog has been added to your pet inventory. Write a query to add the new dog using the following information. We have the information right here. So your query for this problem should have looked something like this. Insert into dogs, and then we have the name column, the age column, and the weight column, and then the values. Okay, so we have Beethoven 2 and then 22. So this is assuming that you still have your dogs table, which hopefully you still have, and the column properties are all the same as what we left them. So this should have worked. So hopefully you're able to get this. Let's take a look at problem 3, part 2. So for part 2, after adding the new dog, you realize the weight data is wrong, and it should be 32 instead of 22. Write a query to update the weight for Beethoven. So to update any column inside of our table, your query should have looked something like this. Update dogs, set weight to 32, where the dog ID, now I put a placeholder right here because the dog ID is going to be relative to how many dogs you've created in your database. Now you may have practiced a little bit on your own, but if you were following along exactly to all of our examples and the exercises, it would have been dog ID 4. So if it wasn't dog ID 4, it's totally fine, whichever dog ID was relative to the Beethoven record. So let's take a look at part 3. So problem 3, part 3, still at the pet shop, you are informed that Beethoven has been sold. Write a query to remove Beethoven's record from the dog's table. So your query should have looked something like this. Delete from dogs where dog ID, and again, I placed a placeholder here because the dog ID will be relative to wherever Beethoven exists in the dog's table for you. Now, again, if you were following along with the examples and the exercises, it would have been dog ID 4. However, if it was not dog ID 4, it's totally fine, whichever dog ID is relative to Beethoven. All right, so how did that work out for you? Hopefully you're able to complete all of these exercises, and that concludes our review of these solutions. So let's go ahead and talk about the next video.